Hey there everyone, this is Joe in General, your resident reason and evidence enthusiast. It's your weekly Bitcoin price analysis update. It is Friday the 17th of November 2017. I think I'm going to entitle this video to 10,000 and beyond. That was a terrible rendition, but I think you get where the reference is coming from with that, to 10,000 and beyond. I'm going to make the prediction in this video. It's my opinion, not financial advice, of course, that 10,000 US dollars is coming much sooner rather than later. I think definitely by the end of this year and possibly beyond 10,000. We'll talk about that in a second, but got to talk about a couple of things before we talk about that. One, my new subscribers, welcome to the 190 new additions to the family since about 7 days ago, a total now of 6,690. If you want to be one of the family, just hit that big red subscribe button right there and we will be kicking goals all day long. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I need to quickly address and talk about this video here from last week, my analysis from last week entitled Back to 5,000 ? Because we've seen such a large price dip and rise back up. Just want to talk about that one really briefly. So right here is this video, Back to 5,000. We were at around about $6,750 and we come off the high of 7,888, but what I noticed is we had busted through or broken through, down through that is, that key support level of $7,000. It was a key level. We'd broken through it and we had come all the way down to $64,000 roughly. $6,400 roughly. And we're kind of in no man's land right about here. We weren't at a key support level, just, right up here we're doing. So I made the prediction that there was about a 75% chance, I said this in the video, about a 75% chance that we were heading back to 5,000 based on breaking through here and this kind of little pattern going on right here. And I talked about a couple of key levels that it would, if it hit and then bounced off, etc., and sort of consolidated through time instead of through price, then that back to 5,000 may not then occur. So that's why I only gave it a 75% chance instead of 100% chance. And I talked about a few key support levels. Now, the first one was this one right here, which is 6,220, or this line right here. That is an old Fibonacci extension, a 1.618 Fibonacci extension from the old high of 49.80 and the old low of 29.72. It's the 1.618 Fibonacci, linear Fibonacci extension. So I said we could potentially, bounce off here, and if we see a consolidation through time and we don't, break through, then that means that the back to 5,000 wouldn't occur. The other couple of points that I was talking about, let me just get to right here. Other couple of points here was this micro trend line. You could see support at this line right here. And of course, I talked about this big one right here, the bottom end of this trend channel, because we have seen in the past that be a major support level in previous history. So, but I said 75% chance coming back all the way back down to the $5,000 level. Now, you know where the price has gone since then. Let's have a look at the live price. That was on the 1 hour time frame, I think it was. This is the 1 hour time frame here. This is the live price, bitcoinwisdom.com website, the Bitstamp exchange. Always keep that in mind, and it's priced in US dollars. This is where we were in this video right about there. It was right about here. So we did see, well, as you guys know, we had that big dip all the way down to $5,555.60. Massive retracement. Well, not too massive, but it was pretty significant. But on the way down, if we look at the 30-minute time frame, you will see that level right here, that 6,220. There was a quick level of supports. Again, when I made the video, the price was around about here-ish, but we did come down. Quick level of support. But that was a failed move back up again, and we had a fast move down to the downside, broke through that micro trend line right here. Let's go back to the 1 day time frame, zoom in a little, through that micro trend line and all the way down. Unfortunately, well, I should say fortunately or unfortunately, depending on, if you're hoping to snap up a bargain right here, but right smack on that bottom end of this trend channel right here. Now, my subscribers are very aware of these trend channels, and I've mentioned before, they're not drawn in perfectly. they're actually drawn in manually. I drew in these trend lines, this one here and this one here, and since then I've been trying to manually calculate, almost try and match the distance between here and here and try and match that distance. And I've done a pretty darn good job, but it is a manual entry. It's not based on a calculation. So, even though technically, I guess when you look, we didn't come all the way down technically, but it's pretty darn close. So that just could be more due to human error than anything else. But as you can see, massive retracement down to that support level, that bottom end of the trend channel. But since, look at that, we definitely did not break down through this level here. So that's a failed move back down to the $5,000 level. And oftentimes, as I said before, from a failed move comes a fast move to the opposite direction. And we've smacked all the way back up to past the high of 7,888, making 7,997, almost breaking 8,000. Little bit of a retracement recently. We'll talk about that in a second. But, a quick reversal. And that's one of the main reasons why I think we're now heading to 10,000 and beyond, 10,000 by the end of the year, and potentially beyond that by the end of the year. And of course, next year, way beyond, in my opinion. Not financial advice, but what I want to do quickly is, as you can see right here, that's that Fibonacci level calculated from that high 49.80, the low of 29.72. I'm going to get rid of that for a second. I just want to zoom in and show you how we got back up to 8,000. I think it's important just to notice patterns, and particularly with linear Fibonacci and Fibonacci. So I'm going to take the high of 7,888, take it, that's a trend line, we don't want that, 7,888, and the low of the quadruple 5 and 60 cents. And you may notice some key support and resistance levels. Isn't that interesting with the old Fibonacci? Right here, this is on the 2-hour time frame. I'll do that one. That's good enough. Close enough for jazz. That high of 7,888, low of quadruple 5 and 60 cents. Actually, nope. I need that on the 1 hour. There we go. So we broke down to that quadruple 5 and massively came back up. Now having resistance at the 38.2% linear Fibonacci, again from the high of there and the low of there. Now we made a play back down again, but it was a failed move. And again, I'll say it again, oftentimes from a failed move comes a fast move in the opposite direction, smashing all the way through these two key Fibonacci levels, but finding resistance again at a key Fibonacci level of 50%, the 50% mark. And it started to go up and down. That's a technical term, go up and down. It started to, price started to go up and down in between, sort of hovering in between these two key Fibonacci levels here. Tried to make a play back down, but that was a failed move. So have a quick move back up. Again, a resistance level, kind of hovered around, broke clean through that 50% level in between right here, broke pretty quickly through the 61.8. That's a key level, this one right here. I'll talk about that in a second. And again, a little bit of resistance around about here, but then breaking through. So as you can see, these Fibonacci levels become key levels of support and resistance. It's good for you day traders. I'm not a day trader in Bitcoin. I do not play the Bitcoin and fiat day trading thing, but Fibonacci can be a great tool to find spots to have a quick sell and then a quick buyback, put your buy orders there or possibly even there, etc. Particularly, sell order around about here, put your buy order around here. Great for day traders, so I hope that's working out for you guys. But for the hodlers like you and me, we don't really need to know about it, but it's interesting to work out, to have a look at the patterns. Particularly then, you can use Fibonacci for longer term analysis. So let's talk about the key level, that $7,000 level right here. So if we're going to move down further, if this is a fake move, if this is a failed move to break significantly higher and this becomes a fast move to the downside, what would we need to see in order to confirm that it is a fast move back down to the downside? Okay, so you've got this key level right here of $7,000 around about there. Now that happens to coincide, interestingly, with the 61.8 linear Fibonacci level of 6,997, call it $7,000. Again, calculated from that high and that low, 61.8 right there around that $7,000 level. So even if the price was to retrace back down to bust through this $7,300 level here and come all the way back down to the 61.8 at the $7,000 mark, it's such a key level right there. Even if it comes down to there, I wouldn't be worried just yet unless it breaks significantly through and, you know, starts hovering around about your 50%. I'd start to get a little bit worried. Really, if it breaks down anywhere through the 50% level, anywhere between below this key support level of about your 6,700, 6,800 mark, that's when I would start to be getting quite worried that we're going to see a retracement all the way back down and then possibly even further, possibly back to 5,000. However, I think there's a decent margin of error, a decent, retracement level where I'm still confident that we could, you know, bounce off and then see higher prices eventually. So anywhere between here and here, I'm personally confident that the bull run would still continue, but breaking down, as I just said, at those levels I just mentioned before. So that key level there of 7,000. Now, higher from here, let's talk about the 10,000 and beyond. So I wish I could show you, and I've mentioned this just recently, I wish I could show you the top end of this trend channel. It may have a bit of a level of resistance. I can get rid of that now. May have a little bit of resistance at the top end of this trend channel. I can't show it to you because of the way the BitcoinWisdom.com website works. Sometimes it shows you and sometimes it doesn't, depends where the price is hovering around. I had someone in my last week's video give me a tip about how to see those higher prices anytime I want in Bitcoin Wisdom. I tried this person's suggestion. It didn't work. I think they may have been talking about the TradingView website instead, but it didn't work on BitcoinWisdom.com. Anyway, I'm digressing, but it did happen to me before. It did reveal itself, and it's topping out. Let's say, for example, if the price right now was to have a quick rise all the way to the top end of the trend channel, that would be hitting at around about your $9,000 mark. So we could see potentially, you know, 9,000, 9,100, 9,200 as a possible little resistance level, because, you know, again, we tend to, previously we've come up to a top end of a trend channel and had a retracement from there, or a brief retracement. But I think that's so close to that magical psychological barrier of $10,000. Look at the price, it's just starting to rise right now. Look at that, we're back up to 7,900. Looks like we could potentially be on a tear. Let me just have a look at that on the 5 minute, because this is the live price, guys. So yeah, okay, failed breakdown right here. We're looking at this live. We had this breakdown here coming off 8,000. That failed to break down any further. Looks like we just tried to break down further and a failed move, fast move back up to here. Looks like we could potentially be busting through that 8,000 anytime now. This is on the 5 minute time frame. Don't you love it when you're watching it live? We'll keep watching that on the right there as we talk about the 10,000 and beyond level. So where are we? Right here. So we're talking about the top end of that trend channel, around about your $9,000, 91, 9,200, but it's so close to that 10,000 psychological barrier that, you know, I think we're going to just be heading there with the confidence of the buyers now that we've come off the bottom end of the trend channel right now. I think the buyers are definitely in control of the market. Again, 10,000 not too far away. Let's pop over to the TradingView.com website. And we'll talk about the 10,000 and beyond. My subscribers have seen this before. This is the same chart. It's the Bitstamp chart, just on the different website. Now you've got this old high here. This is the Fibonacci calculation. Old high of 1163, the old low of 152.40, and these are the Fibonacci extension levels. You'll notice a pattern here. I've talked about this many times. I won't bore my regular subscribers with it, but this is just for the new people if you're watching for the first time. Have had a recent pattern of coming up to a Fibonacci level, piercing a little bit above, then retracing back down to the previous Fibonacci level, right? So we did it here and here. It's a roundabout, it's not always exact, but we did it right here, pierce above this level right here, a retracement back down close to that Fibonacci level, just matched that old high right there. And recently we came up to, this is before this rise, just before we came up to, where are we? It was that high, as I said, of the 7,888, and that retracement, not all the way back down though, so we haven't seen that. So this one here could act potentially like right here, where we didn't see a lot of time spent at this Fibonacci level right here of the 1.618. We're not spending a whole heap of time at this level right here. We seem to sort of go up and down through it. So could that mean that this level right here, and this is what I want to talk about the beyond. Here's the $10,000 level right there. If you can see that, $10,000 right there. Of course, you'll definitely see, in my opinion, a slight level of resistance. It's such a psychological value, $10,000. We've been talking about it for so damn long. Every YouTuber, Bitcoin YouTubers eventually, talked about, will we get to 10,000 one day? It used to be, will it happen in, 2 years time? Will it happen by 2020? And then, it was creeping, getting closer and closer. So it's such a psychological value. Everyone's got it in their heads. I think there's going to be, a decent amount of profit taking at $10,000. So you may see a bit of a resistance point, maybe, coming up to $10,000, retracing back down to maybe, 8,000, something like that. But this is what I want to talk about, the beyond as well. Right here at the 11.089 Fibonacci extension level, again from this old high and this old low. So just like the pattern here, may we come up to this level right here, even pierce above, 12,000, 12,500 before we see a significant tracement back down to this Fibonacci level here of around about your kind of $7,000 mark. I think that's quite possible. So that's the 10,000 and beyond. Now, my call for 10,000 by the end of the year. Let's quickly talk about that. Why? Well, let's have a look how many weeks we've got till the end of the year. So coming off this retracement, that large retracement, I'll zoom in a little bit more. As you can see here, that's the retracement from 7,888 down to quadruple 5 that we've just had. This is on the weekly time frame, right? How many weeks until the end of the year? Now this is the end of the year right here, this vertical line. So we've got, from that retracement, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 weeks until the end of the year. That's counting it from the retracement level, okay? So let's go back and have a look. After having a retracement, how many weeks did it take to make a new high going back in history? All right, so coming off the high of the 49.80 and that low of 29.72, after that retracement, how many weeks did it take to get up to this level right here? Okay, let's count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Okay, how long did it take to come off from this low to this high right here? From this low to this high, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. Okay, and look, we will go back. This is a little bit longer, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, but that's because we didn't spend any time at that 1.618 Fibonacci level. So about 7 weeks to get from this low to this new all-time high before we had a significant retracement. 7 weeks to get from this low to this all-time high before we had a significant retracement. And we've got 8 weeks until the end of the year. That's my reason why, because I think we're definitely in, still in a bull market for sure. And we've seen that large retracement down to quadruple 5. I think that's the biggest retracement we're going to have before we reach 10,000. Got 8 weeks till the end of the year, roughly. 8 weeks, does that make sense? What are we at, the 17th? Yeah, it probably works out about that. A little bit less, between 7 and 8 weeks, roughly, until the end of the year. That's why I think that's another reason why we're going to hit 10,000 US dollars by the end of 2018. Of course, I could be wrong. And of course, we're talking about that beyond level as well. Now, I'm going to do something else here just very quickly to show you why I think this $11,000 level right here, or, slight pierce above, technically it's $11,359. Let's just call it, 11,000. 20,400, something like that. I think that could be a significant level, or, you know, a little bit of a pierce above. As you see, we do pierce above a little bit for a couple of reasons. And this is going to get a little bit confusing, but what I want you to concentrate on is this level right here. I'm going to do some more Fibonacci extensions, but I'm going to calculate them from a couple of different levels. So I'm going to calculate it from the high of 49.80 and the low of 29.72. I'll get it as close as I can, and I want you to watch where one of the major Fibonacci lines, as it rises, where it sits. Does it sit anywhere close to here? So let's just do that really quickly. Again, the high of 49, oh, where are we? 49.90. Let me just do that. There we go. That might be even easier. Nope. Got to get rid of that. Sorry, guys. Doing this live. I'm not going to do a second take because I couldn't be bothered and it's way too late. So 49.85. That's close enough for Jazz. Right. Right about there. Don't want any dead air, no radio dead air. So I'll keep talking. 49 and the low. Now watch this right there. Can you see that coming up to that 11,000, that 4.236? Can you see that right there, the 4.236 level? Look at that rising up as I put this down to the low of the 29.72. Look at where that hits right there. So the 4.236 Fibonacci extension level from the high of 49.80 to the low of 29.72 hits at 11,442. Well, let's call that, you know, around about your 11,400 level. That's smack bang, pretty darn close to that particular Fibonacci level. This one right here. Okay, so that's the first one. That's why I think this level is going to could be quite significant. Again, possibly, you know, a pierce above, because it does tend to do that. And the other one, again, is just this this recent high of 7,888 and the recent low that we've just had of the quadruple 5 and 60 cents. We'll do the exact same thing. I'll get that as close as I can. 7,888. That's, I'm sure that'll do. Close enough for Jazz. And low down. Now watch the 2.618. Watch the 2.618 Fibonacci level. Again, the low of that quadruple 5. That is about there. Well, goodness, will you look at that? The 2.618 Fibonacci level hovers around that 11,000. It's 11,683, but that is 1, 2, you can hardly see it there, 1 and 2 right there, and 3 key Fibonacci levels, all hovering around that $11,400 to $11,600 range. That's why I think that is the beyond price before we see a significant retracement. Now, of course, I could be wrong, you know, do your own research, all that jazz, but that is my opinion. Let me just zoom out right there. Right there. That's why I think, personally, $10,000, of course, psychological value. You may see a bit of a sell-off from there, very psychological point, but hovering around here, that 11,400, possibly a pierce above 12,000, 12,500. Could we even get up to that 13,800 level that Cliff High has spoken about? That's not, you know, out of the realm of possibility before we see the significant retracement, but I'm going to call it around about your 11,400 to 12,500 level before you have that significant retracement back down to a key support, probably around about this kind of area. So that's my case for 10,000 and beyond. I hope you've enjoyed this one. It was a little bit lengthy. I apologize, but I was just doing this one pretty much off the cuff. Didn't want to do 10 million takes because it is after midnight now. Technically for me, it is Saturday the 18th of November, but it's still Friday the 17th for most of you in the world. All right, I'm going to leave it at that. Of course, hit the big red subscribe button there. I'm going to upload this as soon as possible to get it out to you as soon as possible. Hit the subscribe button there if you want to stay updated with weekly Bitcoin analysis videos and other crypto stuff and other stuff, firearm stuff. I do shooting competitions. I talk about politics, very kind of right-leaning sort of stuff. I talk about voluntarism and philosophy as well. Lots of other stuff on my channel, but I digress. I'm a little tired. All right, thanks, gang. Stay safe, stay informed. Speak soon.